Our special series Undercovered continues. This is where NBC investigative correspondent Ronan Farrow digs into some stories that we don't always see in the headlines.
This morning, an exclusive look at a new plan to combat terrorism from one of the world's biggest tech companies. Ronan, good morning.
Good to see you guys. You know, from San Bernardino to Orlando, recent terror attacks have raised questions about radicalization that happens not in war zones, but online. It's left tech companies struggling with tough practical challenges in how to take down terrorist propaganda, and also free speech questions about what they should be taking down in the first place. But after years of experimenting, one tech giant gave us an exclusive first look inside a different kind of approach they hope will change the game.
We're just ordinary people. I never thought it would happen.
Sally Evans' son Thomas grew up in this quiet suburb outside of London, along with his brother Michael.
We kind of did everything together.
He was just a normal little boy, very caring.
But in his late teens, something started to change.
Well, he became a Muslim, and I was quite happy with that. I had no problems. And then little things began to change. He grew the beard, he stopped listening to music. He just isolated himself.
Kind of felt like I was sharing a house with a stranger.
Thomas disappeared for a time, then called home from Somalia to say he'd joined the terrorist group Al-Shabaab. Last year, he was killed while participating in a terrorist attack. His death uploaded to the internet as propaganda.
No mother should have to see that. That was awful. It was just hearing the final moments. As a mum, and there was nothing I could do. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
Thomas is part of a new generation of what some call bedroom radicals, people drawn into violent extremism online.
It was happening upstairs in our bedroom. He was on his computer.
They commit lone wolf attacks or join terrorists in conflict zones, like the estimated 30,000 foreigners who have joined ISIS from around the world, many recruited online. Tech companies have struggled to respond. This year, a breakthrough. Google and Facebook getting more aggressive about blocking propaganda. And in Google's case, trying something more proactive.
The Islamic State has heralded a new era in online extremism. Honestly, we're all collectively experimenting with how to respond.
Yasmin Green is the head of research and development at Google's technology incubator for geopolitical problems, Jigsaw.
We believed that there was an opportunity to use the internet to get to those potential recruits before ISIS and to protect them from being radicalized.
They call it redirect.
We've all had the experience of searching for something like a pair of sneakers and then finding an ad for those sneakers pop up later. And we have used that same principle instead to find potential consumers of ISIS's messages online.
If I'm a young person out there somewhere, maybe sympathetic to joining ISIS, what's the process I go through?
So you would likely search, for example, for a term like, let's take martyrdom for Allah. You would enter that. We would show you an ad that would be directly relevant to your search. You click on the ad and you'd be taken to, for example, a video like this.
Not videos produced by Jigsaw, but existing material from imams and religious scholars, voices potentially credible to ISIS sympathizers. In an 8-week pilot program, Redirect reached 300,000 people who watched 500,000 minutes of video undermining ISIS.
What's really special about this approach is that there's no Google secret sauce. There was nothing that we did on the back end that allowed this to be possible.
So any tech company could do this?
Precisely.
We wanted to hear firsthand from the kinds of people the program targets.
If I had the ability to travel to the United States to carry out an attack, I most likely would have done that.
So Hale Ahmed never got to that point, but he did fall deep into online radical communities and was considering a bombing in London before he pulled back. When you think back on your experience, do you wish tech companies had been doing more to identify people like you and intervene in some way?
What led me away from radicalism was kind of listening to more relatively moderate scholars and imams. If I'd been exposed to that much earlier, I think I would have turned away from extremism at a much earlier stage as well.
This guy is one of the supporters of ISIS.
He's writing, when the infidels die, nobody cares, just like when ants are crushed. Shiraz Maher tracks online radicalization at King's College. He says there are often predictable warning signs.
Fighters, before they travel, become more fervent, more extreme.
Do tech companies have the power to catch who's about to be recruited before it happens?
I think they have the potential to do it. Whether they have the desire to do it is a different matter.
Could this redirect effort help the next Thomas Evans?
I think the effort to redirect people will have some impact.
Anything's worth trying, isn't it? I guess we're never going to stop it completely, but at least make it harder. Make it harder for them to steal our children.
This is very much a tentative first step. Jigsaw isn't sure what the future of the program will be, and experts we spoke with say it's not a silver bullet. Terrorists are always moving to new online platforms that are harder to track. But those experts also say tech companies taking a more aggressive stance can make a difference, especially for some of the less hardline would-be recruits.
It seems like a very rational and thoughtful approach.
I think necessary at this point. It's been a long time coming, but finally tech companies are standing up and saying we got to do more.
They're just kind of elevating a contrary view.
Using the systems we all use every single day.
Oh, Ronan, that's great. Thank you very much.
Good to see you guys.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.